Oh, go live. One of my accounts has disconnected itself by the looks of it. So let me go into that. The trouble is we could be live elsewhere here, and I'm trying to get Twitter back on board. We are live. Sorry. Hi, audience. We've gone live everywhere bar Twitter now. Honestly, always one of these platforms disconnects itself from StreamYard on a weekly basis, and you never find out till you're in the live. Anyway, good afternoon. Don't know how many people we'll have on here because I have not pre-advertised this. It's a bit of a wing it live this week. I missed my Tuesday live because I was at my daughter's graduation, as you all saw. If you didn't see Facebook, then where have you been? And then yesterday, against doctor's orders, I was doing a photo shoot in Whitley Bay. So I'm being good today and resting my foot. So I'm joined live today by one of my amazing clients who's now really famous, Caroline. We're going to talk about what can happen when you become really visible and start to tell your story. I'd pre-advertised this live in the group as what happens when you tell your story. So this seemed to me like a prime example of how we can demonstrate what can happen when you show up and tell your story. So for everybody on other platforms who does not know me, I'm Mandy Nicholson, and I'm the Creative Genius Consultant. I'm an artist, I'm an author, I'm a creative retreat owner who can't speak, and I help creative women to launch, grow, and scale their businesses and make more money. Caroline made the very brave decision to join the Creative Mastermind in January, and it was a tough decision for you, wasn't it, Caroline?
Yeah, it was, because it was really pushing myself out of my comfort zone, because it's scary taking a step towards all those things you want. And I had a bit of a meltdown moment when I'm like, oh my God, I'm like actually going to do stuff.
I know it is that, isn't it? It is scary. So start by introducing yourself, and then you can tell people like where you were in January and how you were feeling, and making that decision and what you've learned in the last few months.
Yeah, well, I'm Caroline West, and I'm an artist. I'm also passionate about sustainability. So I'm always looking to paint on things that you would usually discard or throw away and give them a new lease of life.
Awesome.
Yeah, and in January, I'd made the decision about a year before to leave my job that I was super stressed in. I burnt out from it. So I just made a decision to leave that, took a part-time job, and wanted to focus more on creating art. But I kind of got to the stage where I was a bit lost and didn't really have direction or know what I was doing, which is how I found you.
You did my 5-day challenge, and and I remember having that first conversation, you were really nervous and you were like, oh my God, this is a big commitment. What if it fails? What if this, what if that? It's like that, isn't it? When you're making a big decision for change.
Yeah, definitely. And it's scary following your dreams and then realizing you have actually got to put the work in, because it's really easy just to sit there and go, oh, this is really what I want. And then you kind of just sit behind it, and you've just got to get out past it and think, actually, I've really got to like move in the direction of my dreams and really do it.
That's so important. That point is so important. It's very easy to say I'm going for my dreams and then sit back and sit behind it. Like you say, you've got to put the work in, haven't you? You've got to be visible. You've got to put the work in. You've got to step outside your comfort zone virtually every single day. And that's what Caroline's done. And I remember saying in the first weeks of you on the Creative Mastermind, it's tea bags. It's the tea bags. It's the tea bags, because Caroline paints on many things, don't you? And tea bags is one of them. And we're going to talk about that a lot more now. And I said, I think it's the tea bags because it's so unusual that's going to really leverage your business.
You were annoyingly right, Mandy.
So tell people all the different things that you paint on, because it's really important to you, isn't it? The environment.
Yeah, really important. I just think there's something magical about taking something that you would usually throw away and just transforming it into a work of art. So I'm just always looking for things that I can paint on. I say tea bags. I preserve leaves and paint on those. I paint on pumpkin seeds, log slices, I upcycle crisp packets into art and keyrings and necklaces. My husband's scared to stand still in case I paint him.
Don't stand too still in your house, eh? Otherwise you'd be painted on. And so where did the tea bags come from? Because this is what's interested people, isn't it? We'll start by giving people a little bit of background.
Yeah, I think it was just, I was just saying, my brain's always thinking weird and wonderful things, usually when I'm trying to sleep. And I was just, that's something I would usually throw away. And I just thought, I'll try painting on those. And then I just thought it'd be really lovely to do British landmarks on them because they're British tea bags. And that's sort of how it all took off.
Even more than that, they are Yorkshire tea bags, which is obviously, in my opinion, the best tea because I'm a tea drinker.
And my mum.
Yeah. So it's your mum sending you used tea bags, wasn't it? Because these tea bags have been used to make tea and then you empty them. Yeah.
Yeah, I use them, dry them out, then empty them and iron them. Like I say, I think my household's the only one. My husband would be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Ironing tea bags." Yeah, and then once they're all ironed flat, they're ready to paint on.
Awesome. So it's a brilliant idea, and I knew right from the get-go it was going to do something for you. But what happened? Because one of the things we did probably a month ago was I said to you, go and post in groups. Find groups where your ideal clients are going to be hanging out. And I said maybe environmental groups, recycling groups, that sort of thing. That's exactly what you did, isn't it? You did the work.
Yeah, absolutely. Because originally I was posting in art groups, but in art groups you're just with a load of other artists, and you just got to think, who is it who would be interested in what I'm doing? And obviously, because it's upcycling, I just started posting my tea bags in repurposing and upcycling groups.
Okay, so what happened next? Tell everybody what happened next.
I had an email from a journalist who'd obviously seen them in one of the groups, and she just said, "Oh, can I do an interview with you?" And I was like, "Okay, out of my comfort zone, but you've got to take a chance when you get it." And I suppose naively just thought it would be in a paper, but she was from the Press Association, so they just send it out to everyone. I think it was in 190 different outlets in the end.
Mm-hmm. And it didn't stop there, did it? Because those outlets published your story. What happened next? Where did you go next?
Last Tuesday it went out, and then I was getting all these phone calls and emails from radio stations and TV stations asking for interviews. So I've done several radio interviews. I've been on BBC Sounds, the Meridian News, which is my local one. Yeah, it just went mad.
And then that went from there to TV stardom, didn't it?
Yeah, I've been on a few TV channels, so yeah.
Well,
yeah, been mad.
My mum said to me, I was at my daughter's graduation on Tuesday, and my mum said, "Is that the lady that works with you that's been on the news?" So when my mum says, "Does that woman work with you?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course she does." So you're famous.
If your mum knows me, then I've made it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the message is really clear, isn't it? As artists and creatives, we do live in this space of fear of what if people judge me? What if people don't like what I do? I'm not as good as this person. Look at that person. Their work is amazing. Mine's nowhere near as good as that. And actually, yes, it is as good as everybody else's. You stay in your own lane and you do what brings you passion and do what you love, and you share it with the world, and you never know where it's going to happen. And what I've asked the rest of my clients at the minute is, what is your tea bag? What's your point of difference that's actually going to make you stand out there in a crowded market full of artists trying to show their work? What's the thing that you can do that's different? Because that's what we did. That's what Caroline did. And now her job is to leverage this PR. And we've already had a call about this, haven't we? How do we leverage the PR? So how do you feel about that?
The leveraging the PR? It's scary, but I just think you've got to push yourself past it. I mean, last week when I had the first radio interview, I was a little bit of a mess because I was like, "Oh, I've never done anything." But once I'd done it, I didn't die. No one died. It was all fine. And I just think the more you do it, the more confident you get. And it's just been such a boost for me sort of doing it. And yeah, I just think you put yourself out there and you do it, and it just gets easier. It's just getting over that hurdle and getting past your fears.
It is. And, take the first step and really believe in yourself and invest in yourself, because that's important. Leveraging PR is something I'm going to be talking about a lot in the next couple of weeks through all of my channels, because leveraging, what that means is Caroline's done now news articles, media articles, radio interviews, and TV. She can use those trust stamps. They're already on all her platforms because I've told her to put them on there, and they're there. She's been in the Times, The Independent, BBC Radio, and now on the TV. These are great trust stamps to use on your social channels to show people that you are an expert in what you do. It positions you in a position of expertise. You can then leverage that to get more PR opportunities like podcasts. Anything that's like podcasts, news articles online, they're evergreen content. They're always going to drive people to your website, to your product, to your thing. And what happened to Caroline in terms of sales last week is she sold out on her website. And now she's continuing to sell. Now she's going to be taking commissions at a much higher price because they're going to be specific and bespoke. So things change when this PR happens to you as an artist or a creative, and it brings to you the people who are truly going to love your work, but also the opportunities. You don't just leverage PR to get more PR. We leverage the PR to target people who might like to buy our product. So for instance, I did suggest to Caroline last week that she pitches to the Savoy and to Harrods, to the high-end tea rooms who might buy a collection of tea bag paintings, to jump on that PR and that notoriety at the moment that these have become something. And also go back to Yorkshire Tea to see if there's a collaboration there. So these are the things you can do when you get this level of PR in your business. To sit on anything that's PR based is an absolute disaster. And it is scary, isn't it, Caroline? You've been writing pitches like a madwoman now, haven't you?
Yes, I have. It is. And I think as well, and I know I found it, I just think that quite often in society, we're taught not to shout out about your achievements because you're going to seem boastful or up yourself, or however you want to say it. But I just think, and for that was a big hurdle for me, splashing all on my social media that as seen in this and as seen in that. I just think we're taught to play ourselves down, when in fact we should be shouting about all the amazing people we are and the amazing things that we do. Yeah,
it's a big lesson to learn that, isn't it? In fact, I had a conversation yesterday on the photo shoot with one of the ladies that were there, who said her family were embarrassed by what she was doing because she was showing up, and that she was told that she's showing off on social media because she's showing up and talking about what she does. And we are pushed down into these smaller places of be quiet, don't talk, don't brag, shut up. Yeah, don't say that, you'll embarrass me. Don't say that, you'll embarrass the kids. Do you know what? The kids are never embarrassed when there's more money coming in and they can have the things they want. Never embarrassed, believe me. And those are that's a stack of things to get over on your own, isn't it? To actually make that journey alone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm really lucky. I've got really supportive family, friends and kids, and so I really support, and obviously all the women in the creative mastermind are so supportive. But yeah, it's just, I think it is just a big thing to get past. You're worried about seeming big-headed, but I feel like I've moved past that. I've made a lot of changes the last couple of years, but especially since I joined the mastermind, I just think, you get to the point where this is me, and well, it is just this is just me. I am who I am. I mean, I still have my wobbly moments, that. I'll still be like, oh. But I think, I just think you've got to get that confidence and put yourself out there, because you've only got this one life. So you've got to make the most of it.
That. Well, I've had that experience myself this week. I mean, I was accused initially of being a show-off or bragging for calling myself the creative genius consultant. And I was like, do you know what? Go away. Don't look at me then. Don't listen to me. And this week I've been... Yeah, I am. But I have this week been accused of being a crackpot by somebody who watched me on Four in a Bed. Somebody sees these short 7-second clips and think they know you. You're going to get accused and judged for lots of things in your life. You're going to get told you're a show off. You're going to get told you're bragging. You're going to get told you're a crackpot. I'll own that. I am a crackpot. Do you know what? You were right, mate.
A crackpot.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's what makes me interesting. You must have a very dull and boring life. That's all I can say.
I just think as well, people are going to have a perception of you based on their experiences, their thoughts, their beliefs. So it's about them. It's not about you. Yep. You know, you can't control what someone thinks about you. You've just got to, like you say, stay in your own lane, live your life, stay true to yourself. And that's the most important thing.
And then it will happen. I think the big thing is this will happen for you along your way, as long as you stay in your lane, as long as you keep doing what you love, as long as you keep sharing what you love, unashamedly, unapologetically doing what you love and showing up and saying, look at this, it's great. And I think you kind of were learning from one of my former clients, Lucy Sheffield. I was right the first time.
Lucy, yeah.
Lucy Sheffield, who shows up and says, hey guys, look at this new piece of art I've done. It's bloody amazing. What do you think? And I love that she does that. It actually brings me joy every time. And what I see that as is a filter. It gets rid of the people who don't like it. It gets rid of the people who think you're bragging. It gets rid of the people who think you're showing off. And the people who really are interested and care will stay and they will buy your products. So Caroline's here with me today because this is a success story that any one of you can have when you make the choice. You are no different to anyone else. You're no different to me, to anyone else. You just got out there and you showed your thing. And well done for doing it.
Thank you. Yeah, I would just say to anyone, I think just do it. Just go for it. Push past your comfort zone. What's the worst that can happen? It either will happen or it doesn't. But you know what? You've learned and grown, even if it doesn't that time. So you just got to keep doing it.
If it doesn't that time, do it again and do it again and do it again.
I've entered loads of stuff and been told, you know, that I wasn't what they were looking for, and that's fine. I just obviously wasn't the right fit for that person in that moment. You've just got to wait for the right time and the right people.
I bet if you went back to them now, you'd be the right time and the right people and the right thing. Because
I won't now, though.
No, you're above that now, aren't you? Yes. And that's the thing, isn't it? The people who I have heard stories about, there's so many famous people that you hear stories about that they've had to go back again and again and again. In fact, I read one this morning from a musician who was not backed by the music industry, who went back 4 years later with exactly the same music and was signed. Exactly the same music, no changes. It just wasn't that time for that music at that time. And it's the same with art. It's the same with any creative product. You've got to persevere and keep running through. And Caroline's just a great example of what can happen when you do. So thank you for joining me with your cup of tea today. I hope you're going to reuse that tea bag. Yes.
I am going to dry it out later.
Thank you, Caroline. If you've got any questions at all for me or Caroline, go and join Caroline's network. Have a look at her website. We'll put the link to it underneath this live. And go and grab a tea bag painting before they all go, because you can't keep up with demand at the minute, because you never know what they'll be worth later down the line. So thank you very much for watching today. I will see you all next week at the usual time, Tuesday at 11 o'clock, and have a great week. Thanks, Caroline.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.